False allegations are completely evil and they can ruin people's lives, and not just the person who's being falsely accused. It can ruin their children's lives, their families' lives, and so on. So today what I want to do is I want to go through 8 reasons why false allegations are used in family court and give you a bit of an overview of some of the strategies people use when falsely accusing people. So we'll go through 1 through 8. Number 8, I would say, is the most sinister one, and it's one that if you're not aware of, you really should be. But yeah, with that being said, let's jump into 8 reasons why false allegations are used in family court and how they're used. So the first way and reason they're used is for custody and access disputes, so for children. So for example, if a mother falsely accuses a father of neglect or abuse, it can have various impacts. This could lead to things like non-molestation orders, where the father can't actually have contact with the mother or see the children. It could lead to restricted visits for the children, or it could lead to them losing access entirely. So it's just a way that the accuser can make sure that they get the upper hand when discussing custody. And when it comes to final custody hearings, those accusations will be taken into account by the judge to say, oh, well, she says he's abusive, so I'm not going to award him as much time with the kids or any time with the kids. So the second way and reason is gaining financial advantage. So if a case of abuse gets put against you, when it comes to things like distributing assets or doing your financial orders, a judge may take that into account and think, okay, this woman is saying this man abused her, she was a victim of abuse during the relationship, therefore I'm going to award her more assets. And it means the split of assets when it comes to financial orders might not be equitable because they're taking into account that she was the victim of abuse. Third reason is to influence social services. So when a false allegation gets made or an accusation of abuse gets made, social services will get involved if there's children, and they will take a look at this. It'll obviously prolong matters. It'll make it more difficult for the parent who's being falsely accused. They're going to be interrogated by social services and CAFCAS, and these things again are going to be taken into account and possibly limit your interaction with your children during the proceedings, and then have that knock-on effect that we discussed earlier. Legal cost manipulation. So this is one that's done to, you falsely accuse someone of something. They now have to defend themselves against that. They have to get legal representation for it, where maybe you were just in the middle of a divorce which you were handling yourself, or financial settlement. Now, because of the allegations that have been made, you need to pay way more for legal representation. Your legal costs are going to skyrocket. And what they'll do, coupled with this, is they'll try to drag things out along with the accusations to really force you to pay through the nose for legal representation, drain you of all resources, and make it more likely that you'll want to take an unfair settlement because, you want it over and done with, because you are literally getting drained of everything you have. Creating a narrative. So this is one where the accuser wants to create this narrative that they're reliable, they're the good parent, you are terrible, you're an abuser. So with the false accusations, they hope to kind of skew the court's view of you that they are definitely more reliable, they're definitely the one who should have a main interest in the children. You are terrible, you're abusive, you're neglectful. So when it comes to the court looking at kind of psychological aspects and behavioral aspects of the parents, they're more likely to then skew towards the accuser because they'll see them as more reliable because of the accusations against you. So a very big one is deflection. So if you're in a relationship with an abusive partner, let's say your wife or girlfriend is abusing you, and you go to court for, whatever, access to the kids or financial or divorce, whatever it might be, they will accuse you of being an abuser to deflect away from the fact that they were an abuser. So they'll get in there first, they'll make these accusations, and obviously given the systemic biases that exist in family court and in our society today around, men being perpetrators and women being victims, their accusation against you as a man will carry more weight than vice versa. So second last one is step skipping. As soon as someone brings in abuse into it and falsely accuses you of abuse, it means a couple of things change in the way the court process works. Mediation is off the table, so they won't expect them to mediate with their abuser, so you'll no longer have to attend mediation. This is something that can get used when they don't want to mediate and they're trying to push for the best possible thing they can get, thinking that they can control this narrative and get more out of you. It also means that when it comes to final hearings like financial orders or things, they don't have to directly engage with you because of claims of abuse. There has to be a third party that will have to engage with you on their behalf. So it's just a way of manipulating the process and controlling that. So number 8, the final reason I'm going to give, and to me probably the most sinister reason and something that really needs to be looked at in our society, is active encouragement. So you get a lot of organizations, women's support groups or Mackenzie Friends or solicitors who are actively encouraging women to make false allegations against their partners. And they do this for a variety of reasons. One, you can no longer claim legal aid in family court matters unless there's domestic abuse involved. So as soon as you tick that box saying, yes, there was domestic abuse, you can apply for legal aid for these kind of family court matters. So that's a big thing. It enables false accusers to get access to legal aid. But also it highly influences the proceedings, because all the reasons we've just gone through, forcing them to be financially drained, creating a narrative, it really starts them off on the front foot because there's now allegations made. And you will find people who have been in relationships and they are ending their relationships completely amicably. There's no problem. They both still like each other. They just realize they're not a good couple. They've got kids together. They're going through the court system. And all of a sudden, these accusations come out. I've interviewed plenty of guys that this has happened to. There are stories in some of my books, exactly the same thing, where just out of the blue allegations get made. And it's because these women have been actively encouraged to make these false allegations by support organizations. So to me, that's the most sinister one, because it just means, as we know, no man is safe. False allegations can fly around everywhere. But that one is truly terrible. So that was 8 reasons. There are more reasons. Those are kind of 8 key reasons why false allegations get made in family court. There's a whole underlying, reasons and mechanisms that enable false allegations. I will make a video on that. But that's just some of the reasons they get made. And I wanted to make this for people who don't understand what's going on with this whole false allegation crisis, people who may not be aware of things like, needing to have domestic abuse ticked to get legal aid, things like that. So hopefully this is useful for people that have gone through it or know it. It's probably stuff you completely already know, but please drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think about some of these reasons, other reasons how these reasons were used against you.